It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by Washita Valley Respiratory Care, where you can breathe a little easier, and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. She had one of the most beautiful and unforgettable voices in recording history, with over 100 million records sold and 15 gold record awards. Patti Page was often introduced as the Singin' Rage, Miss Patti Page. Legendary disc jockey William B. Williams introduced her as a page in my life called Patti. A page in her life began on November 8, 1927, when Clara Ann Fowler was born in Claremore, Oklahoma. She grew up in a poor but large family, comprising of 11 children, 3 boys and 8 girls. Graduating from high school in 1945, Fowler started her career with Al Closser and his Oklahoma Outlaws at radio station KTUL in Tulsa. At age 18, she hosted her own 15-minute radio program. As a nod to the show's sponsor, the Page Milk Company, Fowler was referred to on the air as Patti Page, which would become her stage name. In 1946, saxophonist Jack Rail came to Tulsa for a one-night stand. Rail soon hired Page to join the Jimmy Joy Band, on which he was a member of. After leaving the band, Rail became Page's personal manager. A gig with Benny Goodman in Chicago landed her recording contract with Mercury Records. She had her first hit single with Confess in 1947. Because of a strike, background singers were not available to provide harmony vocals for the song, so Page and the label decided to overdub the harmony parts. Bill Putnam, an engineer from Mercury Records, was able to overdub Page's voice using the latest recording technology. Thus, Page became the first pop artist to harmonize her own vocals on a recording. More hits would follow, including the million-selling With My Eyes Wide Open, I'm Dreaming, and her first #1 hit, All My Love, Bolero, both from 1950. Later that year, her version of Pee Wee King's Tennessee Waltz became her second #1 hit, and her biggest-selling single. It was also the last song to sell 1 million copies of sheet music. Page would have 2 more #1 hits, I Went to Your Wedding, and How Much Is That Doggie in the Window. Unlike most other pop singers of the 50s, Patti Page blended country music styles into many of her songs. As a result of this crossover appeal, many of her singles appeared on the Billboard Country Chart. During the 1950s, Page regularly appeared on television, including hosting her own specials. With the rise of rock and roll, mainstream pop record sales began to decline. Page was among the few pop stars who were able to maintain popularity, continuing to have hits well into the 1960s, with Old Cape Cod, Allegheny Moon, A Poor Man's Roses or Rich Man's Gold, and Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. In the 1970s, she shifted her style more toward country music and began having even more success on the country charts, ending up as one of the few vocalists to have charted in 5 separate decades. She continued to record and tour well into her advancing years, including appearing at the Ballroom in New York in 1988, marking the first time that she had performed there in nearly 2 decades. In September 2012, she announced her retirement due to health reasons. She passed away on New Year's Day 2013 at the age of 85. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me every Monday through Friday morning for Trivia Tracks on Fox Sports Camden 97.1.